To Russia now. Is it preparing to invade Ukraine? That question is getting bigger by the day, as is the number of Russian troops near the Ukrainian border. An estimated 100,000 troops have been stationed here. 100,000 Russian troops at the border. There's no obvious reason for this build-up, no upcoming military exercise, no seasonal troop rotation. So what is Moscow up to? The US says this build-up is for a large-scale push into Ukraine, an invasion from multiple locations. This is what American intel suggests. It says Putin is considering an invasion next year with a total of 100 battalion tactical groups that could cross into Ukraine from Crimea, Russia and Belarus. What's a battalion tactical group? It's a temporary military formation made up of several battalions, along with attached artillery, air defense, engineering and logistical support units. The US says these groups are planning to enter Ukraine, occupy an extensive territory and stay there for several months, even years. The intel also suggests that Moscow has called up reservists to take part in this operation. Now, these are members of Russia's reserve force. How many of them? Tens of thousands, apparently. A scale unprecedented in the post-Soviet era. What will these reservists do? Their role would be to secure territory as Russian battalions advance. Does this mean that war is certain now? Well, honestly, it's hard to tell. The build-up is certainly worrisome, but like I said, Russia's motives are still unclear. This could be typical Russian posturing for you, and not the first of its kind. Moscow has a history of such brinkmanship, of such build-ups along Ukraine's border that lead to nothing. In fact, Russia did something similar as recently as April this year. So is this a repeat? Here's what America's top decision-makers think.
The truth is, Bob, we're not sure exactly what Mr. Putin is up to. But these movements certainly have our attention, and I would urge Russia to be more transparent about what they're up to and to take steps to live up to the Minsk agreements.
We don't know what President Putin's intentions are, but we do know what's happened in the past. We do know the playbook of trying to cite some illusory provocation from Ukraine or any other country, and then using that as an excuse to do what Russia is planning to do all along.
That was the American assessment. What about Russia? What is the Kremlin saying? It is accusing the US and its allies of the same provocation. It says Russia's actions are only in response to NATO aggression, to the activities of NATO ships in the Black Sea, the presence of British soldiers in Ukraine, and NATO's political and military buildup along Russian borders. It says such, and I'm quoting, such unconventionally sly situations require unconventionally decisive actions. Listen to this.
What is happening now in the world's diplomacy had never happened before. That's why there's been a lot of slyness, desperate to explain something, and against the backdrop of public accusation of Moscow inaction, such a stunning step has been made. Yes, it's unconventional for diplomacy, but from the other side, such unconventionally sly situation requires unconventionally decisive actions. Ukraine likely pursued military solution of their problem to create one more disaster for themselves and everyone in Europe. This is what Ukraine tends to achieve, and it is trying to achieve it under the shelter of NATO exercise. NATO ship in the Black Sea, British soldiers in the region with numbers increasing. That is what Ukraine wants to achieve. And this is, of course, heartbreaking because this will entail serious consequences.
There will be serious consequences, says Russia. How serious? Is Moscow really in a position to invade Ukraine? Well, I don't think so. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe besides Russia. It is bigger than Germany, France and Poland. Plus, its military too is the third largest in Europe. So conquering Ukraine and merging it into Russia is not going to be easy. Neither would it be feasible for President Vladimir Putin. Let me show you why. These are Ukrainian troops carrying out large-scale assault drills in response to Russia's troop deployment. This footage was released today. It shows that Ukraine is no longer an obsolete force. Its skills and equipment have improved since the 2014 annexation of Crimea. Ukraine is prepared to counter Russian aggression, and it has support from the US and NATO if things come to that. So the bottom line is this: Russia may or may not be preparing for an invasion, but it's certainly trying to flex its muscle, amp up its military presence at Ukraine's border and use it as a coercive leverage against the NATO. The story is still developing. We'll keep track. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.